we're going straight to the conversation with regards to the $5 billion Africa Energy Bank, which Nigeria has just gotten the hosting rights for, which happened at the extraordinary meeting of the Council of Africa Petroleum Producing Organizations in partnership with Afrexim Bank. That's the Africa Export-Import Bank. Now, this is essentially geared towards bridging the funding gap, and many experts have already opined that it is indeed a welcome development and would in turn be a game changer, as he were. But what are the prospects for us, with the hosting of this particular financial institution? These and more we will be delving into and finding out on Market Insights. Today, we're being joined by Professor Magnus Chidi Onwoha. He's a professor of climate change and green economy, and presently the president, governing council of the Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency Associations. Currently, he's also the legal and regulatory expert in the ongoing World Bank funded Regional Off-Grid Energy Access Project that is implemented by ECOWAS for 15 ECOWAS and 4 Sahelian countries. Professor, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Secretary. Thank you so much. My pleasure. Thank you, viewers and guests. It's going to be an interactive section. Thank you.
Professor, this move is obviously a very good one for the country and the continent at large. But the question, being asked at this point in time is whether or not we will be able to maximize its benefits therein. So for starters, I'm going to ask you, Professor, to get your expertise. What does it mean in practical terms, practical economic terms for Nigeria?
Yeah, if I can, I'll have the two-pronged approach. As a conventional economist, we're looking at the multiplier, the growth potentials. When you invest $5 billion, in the next 10 years, what is the multiplier? Okay. I'm not going to go that old conventional economics. I'm now a green economics. I will be looking at the infrastructure development. We're looking at a situation where African continents are on the trajectory to low carbon, resource efficient economy. This Africa Energy Bank is talking about clean energy, okay? And the fulcrum is the energy transition. So if you are thinking of these investments, people are looking at a situation where we are moving away from the fossil fuel is there, but the thinking also in the new economic, in the new technologies in terms of renewables. So an amalgam of fossil fuel and oil and gas with a clean technology. Okay, what I mean, decarbonized technology and renewable energy efficient technologies. So I look forward to, in the long run, we're looking at a bridge in infrastructural deficits. And then also we're looking at the capacity enhancement and development across the value chain of the clean energy and energy transition. So it's a win-win, a huge opportunity for Africa, so to speak. We're not going to look at the second window. If you want to have access to energy for financing, okay, you go to some of these development partners and all whatnot. But right now we have that opportunity to access funding directly. So the implication. More than 80% of those funds will come in country, as against when we are used to a second-tier window of accessing funds. So if at the end we'll get it right. Somebody just text me. I said, "Are you sure Nigeria lost the beats?" I said, "I'm not here. I'm a positivist. I'm told to discuss that Nigeria have gotten it, and this is what it takes." Nigeria had the demography, okay, 200 million plus out of 800 or 900 million Africans, okay, or let's say 5 million, 1 billion. So we expected 1 billion is supposed to be in Nigeria, or 2 billion. So you can imagine that. So it's a win-win for us, and it's a good news for for the economy. It's a good news for we're going to build. There are three things green economics does: building livelihoods, improving the quality of life, and alleviating poverty. So, yeah, it's a win-win for Africa. Okay.
You've spoken about our energy transition to, of course, more cleaner energy, or if you like, renewable energy, as the case may be. There have been conversations around that front for as long as anyone can remember. However, there's been some other arguments, particularly by some African leaders, considering the fact that we have the continent has over 125 billion barrels of proven crude oil reserves and over 600 trillion cubic feet of proven natural gas. And then back here in Nigeria, we have, over 100 of those, So considering what this bank stands for, and what it's looking to achieve in the area of fossil fuels. Will that have any negative implication, if you like, on our renewable energy project? I reckon one was recently struck a couple of months ago with the European Union to the tune of $9 million, 9 million euros, beg your pardon, two of those projects. So where does that leave us vis-a-vis the Africa Energy Bank?
It's about integration. I just came back from European tour of Netherlands, Denmark, and Belgium. It was just toured by EU, but from some critical stakeholders in Nigeria. And the internet is about integration. It was in COP26 that oil and gas was organized as a transitional fuel. Okay, we cannot dispense gas. Okay, it's there. We have the result, just like you said, the statistics you've given out. But what's saying that the technology, we must have a decarbonized technology. We must remove that waste or pollution at source. So in the process of doing it, must be clean. That's what we're saying. So within the energy mix, whether it's oil and gas, renewable energy, and all that, it's very important. But the most important thing now, we need to begin to have that integration. Like I was telling somebody, let me contextualize in Nigeria. Yes, the Electricity Act has given us an opportunity. More than 90% of that production is on clean energy. But we need to have an integrated resource plan for you to really do this. The state or regionals to begin to have access to, electricity and all whatnot. So it's something we'll sit down and integrate. Why there's no power outage in Europe is because there's an integration. If there's an outage in Belgium, France are there to cushion the effect. Just name it. So we just need to, let's forget this idea of renewable is going to be oil. We can't. Oil and gas is relevant in the current energy mix. But in the process of, we need to harness others. Why you have strategic reserves in most of these developed clients is because, let me tell you, the lifetime of American oil is 120 years. The lifetime of Canadian oil is 118 years. The lifetime of Nigerian oil is 45 years, unfortunately, because we are so much overexploited into overexploitation that we don't have room for reserves. Okay? That's a non-renewable resource. You need to keep it so that the black gold, you need to put that the future generation will see it as well in the process. So we need to be strategic in the process. Develop these other clients, these other sources, the renewable resources. We have a whole lot of them. You won't believe it that, forget the fact that in terms of technology, it's the solar that is in now because we live in the equator. The technology that is dynamic now. But the technology in hydro, the technology in wind and just even biomass are evolving. So we need to put in, this investment in this infrastructure. If you look at the offshore winds, people are saying that, look, that the windmill we kept in Katsina, because of this dusty, so it's not, it's not sustainable. No, but there's a technology for us to remove that dust as much as possible. Even the coastline areas, we need to deploy offshore wind, and all that. So it's something that we need to. So this bank, this African Energy Bank, we need to sit down and map out what our priorities, so to speak. Infrastructure is number one. Then the second aspect is capacity development across the value chain. Do you have the capacity on engineering, designing, even credit writing? So we need to sit down and map out. So the truth of the matter is that having the African Energy Bank, that's a specific bank tailored at clean energy or energy, it's a huge opportunity for Nigeria, because energy is the fulcrum. It's in terms of productivity. So it's not something you treat with levity. So it's good a thing that we are thinking through now. And Nigeria hosting it, like I said, is good for us.
Okay. Thank you for that, Professor. Yes. So I understand you're legal and regulatory experts in the ongoing World Bank funded regional off-grid energy access projects. This is implemented by ECOWAS for 15 ECOWAS member countries and 4 Sahelian countries now. So that being said now, how will the Africa Energy Bank facilitate energy integration and cooperation in the energy sector, and what benefits will this bring to Nigeria and Africa?
Thank you very much. Why ROIP? ROIP is to feed on this what's called underserved, the rural areas, as the case may be. Let me contextualize Nigeria. Nigeria's energy demand is still urban biased. Okay, and what I mean is that more than 80% of rural areas do not have access. It's something applicable to the 15 West African countries and 4 Sahelian countries of Mauritania, Chad, Central African Republic, and Cameroon that brought into the loop for the ROIP project. So what we seek to do is to make sure that we have access to those running through what we call solar home system. What we're using there, the solar home system, those technology that can enable rural areas to have access. So the coming in African Energy Bank is an opportunity. What the bank gave is just 628 million for 4-year project. So coming in with this African Development Bank, African Energy Bank, they will come as a supportive, an opportunity to upscale this the project. The project is meant for these 19 countries, but as at now it's only 13 countries are assessing it. So you can imagine 54 African countries. So taking the model of the ROIP model, okay, and it's a huge opportunity. Honestly speaking, I must tell that what the World Bank did, which is being coordinated by ECOWAS, it's a huge opportunity. And we're into the second call now. In the second call, the whole thing is being transparently done. This is not a question of I have a political friend or political relationship and all that, so you have access. You must follow the process transparently. In fact, within the context of developing low carbon resource efficient economy, there are more that called TAC under the quality assurance and quality control. The process must be transparent. The process must be accurate. The process must be complete. The plan must be consistent. The process must be comparable. In other words, if we see in fact, one of the things mechanism we put in place with this ROIP project is what we call the grievances mechanism. In the first call, some people question why they did not receive that, and we brought a grievance mechanism and gave them, why they failed, because they had a weak business plan. And in this second call, I can see that most of them, they engage consultants that are well trained. And from the freelancers we have gotten, they will have more opportunities. So in other words, the African Energy Bank will complement what ECOWAS is doing, and I think that's a good thing for us. And I can see, even before then, I've seen some, I don't want to mention them, some African development experts have also engaged me. I've sent them some models of this, and it's something that is that shows they are a top level member of African development engaged us, and we show them the model we're using, and they're looking at it. So it's a win for us. And African Energy Bank coming in now is something we should be proud of.
Certainly, we are proud of this. Okay, before we delve further into this, I still have one more question for you. But okay, let my colleague just welcome our second guest. We also have another guest who's joining us virtually this morning.
Dr. Imamuddin Talva joins us. Doctor, good morning. Can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am. It's I Council of Independent Alliance.
All right, before we can get Dr. Talba on, if you will, Doctor, can you hear us now?
Talba.
Can you kindly unmute your device if you have it muted? Doctor, can you hear us now? Okay, all right then. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Talba. But let's get back to you, Professor Onuoha.
Okay, I still want to ask another question. Now, I'm looking at this project, the Africa Energy Bank project. Now, I'm looking at sustainability. Now, how do we ensure that this energy project is sustainable and environmentally friendly and socially responsible? Because yes, all hands should be on deck to achieve this. But I want to hear from you, actually. How do we ensure that this project can be sustainable, can be environmentally friendly and socially responsible?
And governance issues. And it must be, the locals must take charge. Ownership, that's what stakeholding. We won't be talking about shareholding now. Stakeholding is the terminology. From shareholding to the profit maximization, but stakeholding is beyond profits to employment creation, that social dimension, to protecting the environmental integrity. So it's something that the projects must have the multiplier of economic, social, and environmental issues. And it is the numbers. We're interested in the growth potentials in terms of numbers. We're not interested in the profit. The bank is not coming there to make profit. Yeah, they will make profit. They won't call sustainable profits. The bank is coming there to how many livelihoods have you built? How many Nigeria, 901 billion Africans have gotten access to energy? If 80%, 90% have access to it, you are building livelihood. The bank is interested in making sure that so that these small and medium scale enterprises will have access to this energy. It doesn't. So that's the point. So we're looking at the numbers, impact investments, and not the profit motive. Though the objective of the bank, check it, is not to make profit. Is to ensure that there are growth potential in terms of livelihood building, in terms of improving the quality of life of Africans, and as well as alleviating poverty. Yeah.
All right, Professor, you just spoke about growth potential. Now let's look at the structure of, the Africa Energy Bank in terms of benefiting businesses in Nigeria and helping them grow. Can you walk us through how it will provide finance, or if you like, provide funding for, local organizations in the country that play in the, oil and gas sector, or play in the energy sector, as it were? Because I reckon a lot of them are still, for want of a better expression, groping in the dark in this regard, with little or no results to show for it. And so seeing as that sector is very critical to the economy, as it were, and its growth and development therein, how do these businesses benefit directly from the establishment of this particular financial institution in Nigeria?
One thing I'm going to see, I don't know the structure of financing, they will have matching grant, but I know what I'm going to see, what I look forward to is that we're going to look forward to pendency, the primacy of grants. Grants is not, we are not going to the conventional bank to borrow at 26%. Okay, we might have a single digits. So it's something that I don't know the structure. Until we get to know the structure of the financing, that we'll look at. But at least the truth of the matter is that because I said they are doing impact investments, okay? And the impact investment, we won't be looking at the 22%, 25% you charge the conventional bank. We're looking at any organization that is taking money from African Energy Bank, that the profile of that organization will show us how many livelihood, employment creation opportunities. What is your environmental integrity like? Okay, we will look at your sustainability table, profile and all that. So these are what we take into consideration, because if I'm doing a project of waste to energy, okay, The waste energy, we are now beginning to look at the waste. To what extent have not been able to save the emission? Have I gathered emission reduction processes? And that emission reduction processes is what I'm putting into my investment plan or whatnot. And that shows that goes to show that here you are making a statement of protecting the environment, environmental integrity. I want to see in my theory of change, what is the output? How many people am I going to gain employment, generate employment? Like I said, let me say in solar, let me take solar. For 1 megawatt of solar you deploy, there are over 3,000 jobs in the value chain. 3,000 are stand to be corrected. So in terms of, so you can see 1 megawatt of solar, you have over 3,000 jobs. So livelihood building. So that's what we'll be looking at. So I don't know the structure of financing. Until we get to know the structure of financing, is it going to be equity financing? Is it going to be matching grant? Let's look at all those structures. By the time we come in now, but of a truth, it is one structure that will be, the burden will not be on the borrower or the investor. Because any person who is coming into this climate environment, in this impact investment, is making a statement of, I'm carrying the environment loan. I want to employ more people. I'm not coming there for only profit maximization. So I look forward to getting to see the structure of financing. Now we'll take it from there. But from what I have seen, the African Energy Bank will be interested in impact investment. Google, find out what impact investment is all about. So.
Well said, Professor. Yes, impact investment, that's what we're all looking forward to, because we need this this project to touch the common man on the streets, especially people living in the rural areas. So now still on this finance and investment. Now the capital is of $5 billion initial capital, but critics are of the opinion that this may not be enough to meet Africa's vast energy needs. So now how will the bank ensure, or rather how will the bank attract additional investors that will ensure long-term sustainability?
Rome was not built in a day. One day begins a story. Like I said, the multiplier, in my knowledge of economics, multiplier, the growth potentials. I mean, once we have done this and people have seen that, there will be so many windows of funding. Green Climate Fund, you can see success begets many friends, okay? Once they have done it, I've done it right, all right? And there's nothing, I look forward to in the next 2 years, 3 years, that the portfolio may rise to up to $20 billion, as the case may be. So what's worth doing is worth doing right. And that's exactly, we need to be very transparent in the method. Let me tell you, why we must succeed is because we are trying to address infrastructure deficits. The problem of Africa is that of infrastructure. And of course, if we would develop capacity across the value chain, if you're saying you are doing solar today, do you have the technology? Do you have the experience in designing, engineering, even credit writing? Like I said, it's not everyone know how to access this money. So we need to across the value chain. So it's something that when we get it right with these $5 billion, I can tell you there are so many windows of funding that will, international funding stream that will come in to support this. But the most important thing that Africa have taken the bull by the horn to say, of a truth, we want a bank, a specific bank on energy, or what I call clean energy, to help to address these infrastructure deficits and the capacity development. So, it's
all right, Professor Noha. Now, considering where we were and the heavyweights, so to speak, that we did a tug of war with to get this hosting right. We're talking about South Africa, we're talking about Algeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, the Benin Republic. But the former, talking about South Africa and Algeria, two of the strongest economy on the continent. Now, what does this do for us status-wise in the global scene? Because right now, for all intents and purposes, there is a weight of expectation on our shoulder as the ones hosting the AEB at the moment. So what does it do for us in the global scene vis-a-vis us beating, so to speak, our rivals to this hosting rights?
The implication is that, Nigeria is about to resetting her economy. I marvel at when people say, I'm not being emotional. one good thing I know is that I appreciate about the present government is that there are indicators that I've seen that of a truth that in the interim it might look that is the burden is enormous, but if you look at the prism and eye of an economist as somebody who has a foresight, we are good to go. Because I know, let me tell you for one thing, we have the climate change. I'm talking policies, issues, climate change act. We have the electricity act. We have an international plan. All these are in place, and a lot of issues that and the government has taken climate change and green economy in the forefront. Let me tell you, you know why everybody's running to Rwanda? Rwanda 5-6 years ago took climate governance and economy at the forefront, at the premise. Everything is community driven. And that's why moving away beyond, so we're looking beyond oil and gas to go into the global thinking. The presidency have a high-level committee now on climate change and green economy strategy. I must tell you that these are things we need to, and that's why people are saying, okay, truth. Let's have this confidence in Nigeria. Nigeria had the demographic. Forget when we debate the economy in 2013, we become the largest. We're the best, and forget what is happening, and all that. I don't want to boast about management, mismanagement, but the truth of the matter, we are resetting this economy. And I'm seeing climate change and green economy, or blue economy. Nigeria has set up a blue economy as a ministry. You know the implication of 8 trillion, value chain in the blue economy. So that we're thinking in terms of global rights. So when Nigeria got this, I'm not surprised. Those who are thinking, who are being political, are just, what is Tinubu doing? I just laugh. We are thinking afar, we are being futuristic. And that's what this government is doing. And I'm so happy, I'm excited about what is happening, about the blue economy, about the green economy, about the climate issues that are coming in the forefront. Check Kenya. Look, let me be honest with you. If you go to Kenya today, forget what is happening in Kenya. You go to Rwanda, go to Ethiopia, the economy is run based on new thinking, climate governance, energy transition, and all that. These are things. So for doing that, I give kudos. And of course, you need to have who are the delegates, who are the engineers, who are the people that are really in the forefront that are bidding for this. You don't just go there with your second hand. So you go there with first hand. So a lot of boardrooms happened, and I'm sure that Africa will learn in the long run. In 2-3 years, I look forward to, this is our big brother. It's coming back again and all that. So, yeah, we're getting there. This might be our low moments, but what to call in those days in United States, we have called liquidity trap, the Great Depression, where liquidity trap is that's interest is so low as to induce saving everybody. It took one man, that President Roosevelt, to say, "Oh no, let's leave that trap, let's leave that depression," and a lot of policies came in, and Americans left that Great Depression, 1929. So that's about our liquidity trap, our Great Depression now, and you put all this in place. So what happened is that Africans have not lost confidence in Nigeria as the leader. What the implication is that, yes, there's still silver lining, for us. So let's, as some of those who are prayerful too, let's also give God, be prayerful, and we'll surely, the sun will rise again. So what is happening now is just a partial eclipse for Nigeria. What's happening in Nigeria is a partial eclipse, okay?
Professor, we're losing you there for a second.
Thank you.
I can't hear you. We can't.
I said, what's happening in Nigeria is a partial. What is happening in Nigeria is I said, what's happening in Nigeria is a partial eclipse. The sun will rise again. So the eclipse is not total.
Professor Magnus Chidi Onuha for joining us on Market Insight this morning as we talked about Nigeria hosting Africa Energy Bank and the prospects for sustainable growth and development in the energy sector. It's been great discussing this with you, and yes, you've really gone further to explain the benefits of this to Nigeria and also to the continent Africa, and how all the objectives of this project will certainly benefit the common man living in the rural areas especially. So that's the main target of this project. Thank you so much for joining us on the program, and we look forward to having you again on Market Insights. Maybe we could have you physically in our studios.
A pleasure. Thank you. That was great. Thank you so much. Thank you, SOUQ.
Let's look at the currency market right now, how the Naira is faring against the dollars, pound sterling, and euro. So we're looking at the Central Bank of Nigeria rates and the parallel market rates. So for today, Monday, 8th July, so at the CBN rate, the dollar is currently selling for 1,501 Naira to $1. And at the parallel market rate is selling for 1,525 Naira to $1. And for the pound sterling, it's selling for 1,944 Naira to 1 pound sterling. That's the CBN rate. And the parallel market rate is 1,987 Naira to 1 pound sterling. And for the euro, it's 1,645 Naira to 1 euro. That's for the CBN rate. And the parallel market rate is 1,653 Naira to 1 euro. So those are our money market figures this morning. As usual, the parallel market rates are higher than the CBN rates. So thank you so much for watching Market Insights this morning as we talked about Nigeria hosting the Africa Energy Bank and the benefits, the prospects for sustainable growth, and how this project will certainly benefit us in this country and on this continent. So the journey towards a secure and sustainable energy future for Africa is a very clear roadmap with Nigeria at the wheel. So the Africa Energy Bank is a powerful energy for progress, but its presence in Nigeria will definitely be a testament to the country's leadership in this critical energy sector. So that's our time on Market Insight this morning. Many thanks for watching the program. I'm your host, Lavina Emma, and for my co-anchor, David
Chiadu, thank you very much for joining us today on Market Insight. Until next time, do have a wonderful day.